Shortly after breaking his leg in a car accident, Herman Mankiewicz is commissioned to write a screenplay by an up-and-coming filmmaker named Orson Welles. The young wunderkind has been given carte blanche by RKO Pictures to do whatever he wants, and he wants to make a film that takes down some of the most powerful men in the world, including publishing magnate William Randolph Hearst and filmmaking mogul Louis B. Mayer. Though Mankiewicz is not being credited for this screenplay, well, word starts getting through Hollywood who's behind the political machinations of his former employers, and it looks like his career might be done. Will he receive credit for it or will he not? This is Mank. So yes, this is the story of the screenwriter of Citizen Kane, if you haven't figured everything out there. And it is kind of, it does really sort of show how the story parallels that of William Randolph Hearst and his political machinations, Louis B. Mayer and his political machinations, even a character who's based on Hearst's mistress, Marion Davies, who he tried to turn into a star, is in there, and even though Mank himself denies any connection to Davis because he actually connected to her as a friend, there's a lot of political discussion in this, and the story is sort of told from this. You see 1939 as Mankiewicz is dictating the screenplay to his secretary, Rita Alexander, and then we sort of flash back to Mank's life throughout the 1930s, basically. It's overall pretty well done. The only problem is, for some reason, the flashbacks are kind of told out of order for some reason. Like, we get 1939 to 1930, 1939 to 1934, 1939 to 1933, then 34 again, 34 again, 34 again, then 36, 37. Yeah, you see what's is kind of getting a little weird. I think it's something gets a little. Maybe they got a date mixed up when they were doing this. I'm not entirely sure, but there is this point where, again, William Randolph Hearst is. This is the 1930s, and something's brewing in Europe, and Hearst is trying to keep everyone out of it, even though he and a lot of his good friends in Hollywood are Jewish, and well, they're hearing stories, so you are getting a little bit of that sort of thing. And this is all kind of also packed up against the backdrop of a gubernatorial race in California between the writer Upton Sinclair, who is a diehard socialist and is basically running as a Democrat without any backing from the Democratic Party, against, I forget the Republican's name, and he's obviously very much wanting to, and the studios want him on their side because obviously he's very capitalist and not socialist, and they're afraid that they're going to lose their studio rights and everything like that to up-and-coming unions, as we also see the beginnings of the Screen Actors Guild and the Writers Guild and the Directors Guild, where, hey, we want our fair share of the money. And there's actually some of the people who have been put out because they've been talking about unions, but they're hired back to direct an anti-Upton Sinclair propaganda piece for MGM. And you kind of see how this sort of blows up in their faces, because it works and Sinclair loses, even though the people who were making it actually were supporting Sinclair, who's played by Bill Nye, of all people. So just a little note there. And to be honest, that's really the interesting parts of the movie, are the political machinations, not so much the screenwriting. It is very boring. Basically, it's the idea of, Mankiewicz has he's an alcoholic, he's injured in this one case. There's a little bit of character development with this secretary who's named Rita Alexander. It's not the real name of the person. It's actually the woman who inspired the name Charles Foster Kane. So, yeah. But there's this weird subplot where she's British and her husband is a Navy officer whose aircraft carrier sinks, and he's lost at sea. And, it's then not paid attention to for the last, hour and 15 minutes of the film. So, yeah, again, it's like, why introduce that thread and then not really follow up on it? There's some bits of it, like, kind of trying to justify a little bit of his alcoholism to an extent, because he's supposed to not be drinking while writing the screenplay, especially because he broke his leg. He's also on painkillers. but he smuggled alcohol in a couple of times, and then he smuggles some better alcohol in because it turns out the stuff he smuggled in had been spiked with a Seconal, a sleeping drug, basically. And so he changes it to, so he manages to get some better stuff. And, the secretary turns to his handlers and they say, "Why are you doing this?" And the secretary and the handlers are like, because Mankiewicz wrote an anti-Nazi film that was actually filmed in Germany, and he managed to basically smuggle an entire village of Jewish people out before the Nazis got there and really took it over. So you kind of get the idea, he's not that bad a guy. And it's also kind of revealed that Mayer doesn't want him around, but Hearst likes him because he tells funny jokes. And he even says, like, look, this thing is, a quixotic story. It's a modern day Don Quixote. It's taking William Randolph Hearst and turning him into Don Quixote. Because, at one point, Hearst was actually pro-socialism until he started to realize he could make more money being anti-socialist. So you kind of get, like I said, the political machinations are really interesting. Unfortunately, everything else is just kind of not. It gets really repetitive. It's just, Mank drinks. He kind of mistreats his wife, but she stays by him because it's sort of this tolerance thing. She says at one point, look, why did I stay? I don't know. Maybe because I like having you around too. That's basically it. And, throughout this point too, we bounce back to 1939, and again, as word is getting through Hollywood about this movie and this picture, Mankiewicz's brother Joe, Marion Davies herself, a couple other people, John Houseman, show up, and they're like, you sure you want to do this? Like, this is going to ruin your reputation in Hollywood. And of course it winds up winning the Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay. Though he and Wells have a falling out because, again, originally Mankiewicz was not supposed to be credited, but then at the last minute he said, no, actually I do want credit on this. And he said, look, this is the best thing I've done. I have to get credit for it, or else, everything my career is done in Hollywood anyway, so it's like I either get credited for this great screenplay or I screw my career and no one even realizes it. It's just talked about in hushed whispers. So you kind of get a good sense of that, but again, like the story, the bounce back framing device is not well executed. The performances are fine, they're pretty solid. Like I said, there are parts of it that are way more interesting than the rest. Other parts are just really boring and a little too contrarian. It is kind of Oscar baity a little bit. It has screen in some theaters, so it is eligible for an Academy Award if they ever actually get held. But, Oldman's already got an Academy Award. I think probably the better performance includes Amanda Seyfried as Marion Davies. I believe it's Rooney Mara plays Mankiewicz's wife, Sarah. She's actually really good in it for her brief time. But other than that, it's pretty by the books. It's not terrible. It's, fairly interesting at some points. Like I said, the political machinations and that stuff is way more interesting than the screenwriting. And I do wish they had maybe just focused more on that. And then, just bounce back to him writing the screenplay and people piecing it together. Like they do that, but it should be reversed. We should see everything happening and then bouncing forward to him writing the screenplay. Not him writing the screenplay and then bouncing back to the events. I get if that makes any more sense. So I think that would have worked a little bit better, but still, it's not an overall terrible film. It's pretty decent. I'm going to give Mank a B. Like I said, it's I've been saying it this whole time, so yeah.
I'm here at Paul Masson's Chateau in California. Almost every night here there's a wine tasting party, and one of the favorites is Paul Masson Chablis. It's light and crisp. It's delicious. The wine you drink the most should be the best. And they take special care with it here because they know Chablis is America's most popular wine. Paul Masson Chablis. I recommend it. Paul Masson will sell no wine before it's time.
Okay, so our next video is going to be the recap and review for NXT TakeOver War Games. After that, the next movie review is going to be a Disney Plus original, Safety, based on a true story about a Clemson football player who takes in his brother after their mother is arrested. And yes, I know about Wonder Woman 1984. In fact, I know about the big to-do now with Hollywood that all of Warner's films for next year are going to HBO Max day and date as they are also going into the theaters. I don't have HBO Max. I have a Roku TV. I do have an Amazon Kindle Fire Stick, and I have an Xbox. I know I could put HBO Max on those. I can't get it through my cable provider, so I'd like to, but right now it's just not in the cards, unfortunately. So yeah, as much as I would love to review Wonder Woman 1984, it's probably not going to happen. I might do Soul, but if I do Soul, it's going to be after Christmas because I do need a little bit of a break. I did way too many TV shows the last few months. Like I said, if I do a TV show, I'm not doing another TV show till, I'll finish Mandalorian, obviously, but I'm not doing another TV show after that until WandaVision. So, hopefully, we'll see how next year shakes out in terms of movie reviews. Obviously, I'm not going to the theaters until well after a vaccine is readily available. So, yeah, we're going to be stuck with kind of a lot of the streaming stuff for now. So unless I get some type of windfall here, probably aren't going to see too much in the way of Warner Brothers movies. Again, I'd love to do Wonder Woman 1984. It's just, again, not in the cards right now. After that, I am working on the random trade review for Supergirl, Last Daughter of Krypton. And, that's going to be 2 parts because I'm having to do a whole preamble thing about the history of Supergirl because it is quite convoluted at some points. It should be interesting, though. Like I said, it's going to be 2 parts. That'll be out next week. Probably next Saturday, maybe Sunday, just to be on the safe side again. Today kind of got away from me. That's why this video is coming out so late. So sorry about that. See you all next time. Hey guys, remember, you can help support my channel at patreon.com/sleepytimeforcatproductions, where you can help request a movie, even if it's something like, say, Sonic the Hedgehog or the next Purge film. I'll review it.